Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme, and as you can see from the board there, we're at Mollusk Cemetery, and there's a Heritage Trail board here, so you can pause the video and zoom in on that if you so wish to read that information. But I want to take you and show you the grave of a United Irishman, and of course that United Irishman is James Hope, or Jimmy Hope as he was better known. Now, Jimmy was born on the 25th of August 1764 in Roughfort, Mollusk, which is in the parish of Templepatrick. His father was John, who was a linen weaver, who was a native of Templepatrick, and his grandfather was actually a Highland Covenanter who had fled Scotland to avoid persecution from the English authorities. So there's a plaque here to Jimmy, and this is it here. James Jimmy Hope, 1764 to 1847, a man of no property, that's how he was known. United Irishman, born in Roughfort. So Jimmy Hope was an apprentice linen weaver. He would become known as Templepatrick's weaver. Now, he was influenced by the events of the American Revolution, and so he joined the Irish Volunteer movement until they were disbanded in 1793. He was also, of course, influenced by the events of the French Revolution, and so whenever the Society of the United Irishmen was formed, he joined it in 1795. Now, he very quickly was elected to the Central Committee in Belfast, becoming close friends with such leaders as Samuel Neilson, Thomas Russell and Henry Joy McCracken. He became known as the Spartan, and during the Battle of Antrim, fought on the 7th of June 1798, James and his Spartan band, as they became known, played a courageous role in covering the retreat of the fleeing rebels that day after their defeat by the Crown forces. Now, Jimmy Hope managed to rejoin McCracken and his remaining forces after the battle at their camp on Slemish Mountain, and of course Slemish has big connection with St Patrick. But the camp gradually dispersed, and the dwindling band of insurgents were forced to go on the run. Now, after the collapse of the Rising, Hope refused to avail of the terms of an amnesty that had been offered by Lord Cornwallis. And so he lived the remaining years on the move between counties Dublin, Meath and Westmeath, but he was finally forced to flee Dublin following the failed Robert Emmet's rebellion in 1803. So he returned to the north and evaded the attention of the authorities by securing employment from a sympathetic friend who was from England, who was in Belfast, where he eventually benefited from a political amnesty in 1806. Now, he died on the 10th of February 1847 in Brown Square, which is just beside the Belfast Shankill Road there. And I've done a wee video on Brown Square because there's a couple of other men who I mentioned. One of them was a United Irishman at least, and that was Israel Milligan. Of course, he had the watch house. He was one of the builders of the watch house in the Shankill graveyard, but he never took part in the fighting of 1798 because he was in Kilmainham jail down in Dublin. And then his property, when he died, actually passed to John Milligan, and he lived in Brown Square, which is right beside Peter's Hill, where Isaac Milligan lived. His was number 88, Peter's Hill, and John Milligan, he lived in Brown Square, where Jimmy Hope lived as well. Now, he died aged 83, and he's buried here in Mollusk Cemetery in Newton Abbey. Now the headstone was actually erected by his friends, Mary Ann McCracken, sister of Henry Joy McCracken, and also the man I've just mentioned, the Belfast Shankill Road United Irishman, Israel Mulligan. And on the headstone, there's a large dog, and this is the headstone here, and you can see the dog. And it's believed that that dog actually brought Hope and his comrades provisions whenever they were in hiding following the Battle of Antrim. So quite unique, no doubt about it. So I'm going to show you these tombs, or these graves, should I say. So this one here is erected to the memory of James Hope, who was born in 1764 and died in 1847. One of nature's, noblest works. An honest man, steadfast in faith and always hopeful. Of course, his name was Hope. In the divine protection, in the best hour of his country's history, a soldier in her cause, and in the worst of times still faithful to it, ever true to himself and to those who trusted in him. He remained to the last, unchanged and unchangeable in his fidelity. Also his wife Rose Mullen, and if I remember rightly, he referred to her as Rose Petal, his Rose Petal. Born 3rd of December 1770, died 25th of May 1830. Also his sons. So his sons here, of course, are named after United Irishmen. So you've got Robert Emmett Hope, named after Emmett, of course, the United Irishman. And that was born the 11th of April, I think that is, 1812. Died 23rd of May 1864. 1864. And let me see, where are we? Henry Joy McCracken Hope, of course, named after Henry Joy, another United Irishman. Born 16th, I think that's January, 1808 maybe, I'm not sure what that is. 9? No, I think it's a 9. Died 19th of January 1872. Also his father and mother, John Hope and Sarah Spears. So there you go, folks, and that's the wee doggy that's believed to have brought those provisions. It's like an Irish wolfhound, isn't it? Certainly is. Now this one here is another son of James Hope, Jimmy Hope. This is Luke Hope, and it's to the memory of Luke Hope. What does that say? Creator, I think that is, of the night light, whose life was distinguished by the superiority of his talents, the perpetuity, I think that is, of his principles, and the simplicity of his manners. This monument, placed by a few of the many friends who valued his worth and, what does that say? I can't make that out. Premature death. And something his premature death. Maybe you could see that better in the video. And then, what's this say? It's hard to make the rest of that out, it's very small. But anyway, that's his son, Luke Hope. So there you go, folks. That's the United Irishman, Jimmy Hope, from mollusk. Thanks for watching and God bless.